an all-time performance.
Didn't we say this summer that he could have the same impact that McCaffrey had on the Niners? And he's doing the same thing with the Eagles. Saquon Barkley, unbelievable.
So, yeah, I mean, last year, remember the Eagles melted down, right? And it's pretty much the same team. They made some upgrades in the secondary. They got a nice cornerback from Toledo. But they brought in one great player. And Saquon Barkley, from the New York Giants to the rival Eagles, has got a Babe Ruth Red Sox to the Yankees feel to it. I mean, that's what it felt like last night. Are the Giants going to be cursed for 100 years? The last 10 they have been. Saquon now is averaging more yards a carry, as he went for 255 last night, than the Giants are yards per pass. He's going to break the all-time potential record for a running back in one season. Scrimmage yards, rushing record, put on a clinic last night. Remember, it was about a year ago, we were lamenting that running backs just weren't getting paid and didn't have an impact. Well, the truth is they're not usually as valuable as quarterbacks or left tackles or pass rushers, or these days, due to rule changes, they're not as valuable as a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson. But there are exceptions. Christian McCaffrey the previous 2 years and Saquon Barkley with the Philadelphia Eagles. And by the way, not all front offices are equal. You know that and I know that. But some are playing chess, the Eagles, and some are playing Candy Crush, the Giants. We knew Saquon would be better because the Giants had a bad O-line, and Saquon was great. And they have a bad quarterback, and Saquon was great. And the Eagles are above average at both. In fact, I'd argue their O-line's the second best in the sport to the Lions. We also knew that the Giants didn't have any star receivers during Saquon's run. So, therefore, opposing safeties can cheat getting the box. So the Giants had a bad quarterback, a bad O-line, no star receivers. You could cheat. When Saquon was with the Giants, you could cheat, and you still struggle to stop him.
Okay, let's talk about this because I am fired up for this one. I really am. Because first off, what an insane thing to say at the bottom, right? Does Barkley make Philly Super Bowl contenders? Obviously. How are we even asking that question? I mean, seriously, how are we even asking that question right now? Does Barkley make Philly Super Bowl contenders? And then don't say that this is the same team as last year. You got new coaches, you got new coordinators, upgrades on offense, upgrades on defense. Like, this is not the same team. And again, the Eagles didn't fall apart last year. They were being held together. Their season last year, for the most part, was overcoming a lot of issues, coaching, injuries, etc. So this is a massive upgrade of a team. They didn't just add Saquon on a couple pieces. They revamped the offense. Again, revamped the defense. They got huge draft picks for defense. The defense is a massive upgrade. Getting Fangio, getting Kellen Moore. So, like, this is not the same team. So we have to put that to bed already. We really, really do. And Saquon is obviously absolutely a beast. And I said this, I think, last week or whatever it was. The last time Saquon had a huge game, which is pretty much every single game. Let's not pretend like everyone said that this move was a slam dunk, that this was easy, that this was 100%, oh yeah, let's go. Now, Colin said this was going to be pretty good, and so did J-Mac, but many people said, Saquon's not that good. Nah, he only had one good year, and it wasn't just Nick Wright. You guys know that I called out Nick Wright for that take, who he's admitted he was wrong. But there was a lot of people out there, Dan Graziano, like there was a lot of people that questioned it. They questioned Jalen Hurts. Remember that whole thing? Oh, the jury's out on Jalen Hurts. Just blitz him and he will fail. Yeah, remember those takes? I remember those takes. Oh, Fangio, they couldn't get Fangio out fast enough in Miami. Oh, Kellen Moore, he's not a good coordinator. Dallas Cowboys really wanted him out of there, and look, the Cowboys are apparently better with him. He was a failure with the Chargers. Kellen Moore's not good. And again, everyone's ripping Sirianni, as we know, this year as well. So there was a lot of hate on these moves. A lot of hate. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. Jalen Hurts is about to get Carson Wentz and cut. He's about to get traded for a 4th round pick. So there's going to be a lot of revisionist history. A lot of revisionist history. People said Saquon Barkley's not much of an upgrade of their run game. Upgrading their run game isn't going to make that big of an impact on them. That wasn't a problem for them last year. Like, there was a lot of those takes. Again, because I did all of them on here. All of them. So make no mistake about it. None. I was getting in crazy debates with people about Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. People were like, Saquon Barkley's not even top 5. He's not even close to what Christian McCaffrey is. Well, yeah, you're right. Saquon Barkley is better than Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, that's right. Considering what Saquon Barkley has had to do with the New York Giants. If you watched the game last night, you saw the stat where it was he's getting an extra yard before contact. I mean, he was essentially getting popped right away with the Giants, which again is what I talked about. I said they had nothing going on there. No quarterback, no other weapons, no O-line. Defenses could just put all their attention on Saquon in New York. They can't do that in Philly. It was the most obvious thing ever. The most obvious thing. I mean, obviously the Eagles dominated that game against the Rams. I mean, that score isn't even representative of it. I mean, it was really, 37-14 or whatever. I mean, really not close. And that's the thing. This wasn't just Saquon. Saquon obviously exploded the game open and had like 2 massive 70-yard runs and was obviously the man of the hour, the man of the day, really. Saquon, 26 carries, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9.8 yards per carry, 302 total, which is the 9th most in NFL history. He's already had his career high, and he's only 10 games in, which is crazy. Saquon Barkley last night had more total yards than the Rams had in their entire team. I mean, that's obviously wild. Obviously wild. 47 reception yards as well. And a few big plays, too, like situationally big-time plays. But the Eagles played great. Their defense played great. Yeah, they gave up some yards to Puka Nacua, which we knew was going to happen, right? Those guys are going to get their catches. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. Like, this is what I was looking for in this game, where I was like, this offense is legit with legit weapons, no doubt about it. I want to see how they contain this. What do they look like? And they passed with flying colors. Absolutely passed with flying colors. Some of that score also, some of that was on 2 really ticky-tack pass interference calls. I'm not going to, talk about the refs too much in that regard, but, even Collinsworth was just like, I don't know. And they even said, like, I forget who that refs guy on TV is. They're like, Jerry, what do you think about that? It was one of those, like, I don't know. But, I mean, Hurts had some huge pickups on 3rd down with his legs. I think Hurts has been playing unbelievable, honestly. I think Collinsworth also pointed this out, just having, like 1 turnover-worthy play in the last, 5-6 games. I mean, just big. He's been throwing the ball away, so he's not forcing the ball, which is awesome. He's really evolved. He's calling timeouts. I saw him do that multiple times in the 4th, and it was just like, again, it wasn't panicked. It was like, I'm in control. He feels like he's so much more in control. I think in years past, as great as Jalen Hurts has been, he's been more a passenger of this offense. And he's even kind of admitted that to a degree. He talked about Kelsey doing a lot and stuff. I mean, he's now in control of that offense, and it shows. And and the Eagles are better for it. I mean, they just are. You can see the defense, the communication on the defense has been awesome. You see it. You see them having to change things up and do what they need to do. And the communication, again, with a lot of young guys has been awesome. Random guys going down at any given moment. You need great communication. And they get it. And they had, 5 sacks against Matthew Stafford? Forced fumble in the opening drive, and then another fumble that was still then picked up. I mean, it was just, it was as perfect as a game as you can get against the Rams. And the Rams have been playing really good. The Rams were only giving up 20 less points a game, and they were ready to kind of make a run. The Rams absolutely were. Make no mistake about it. The Rams are a significantly better team than I think people would give them credit for because of all their injuries and how their season has unfolded. So being able to beat them 37-20 is a significant win. Look no further than what some of these other teams around the league did and how they won. a lot closer games. I mean, I just think that the way these games have been unfolding, there's really nothing to really complain about. Like, even when the Eagles were winning over these last few games or early on in the season, there was so much nitpicking about them. And understandably so. You're trying to figure out, what is this team? How do they get to the next level? And when you see how they're starting their drives, when you see how they're attacking other teams, when you see obviously how they started off the second half, right? Like, that's a given. Hand the ball off to Saquon, boom, touchdown. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. I mean, they've had some beautiful screenplays against the blitz, 3rd and long, little toss to Saquon for 30. I mean, right then a touchdown from Gainwell. And that's the thing. See, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not just Saquon. Even Gainwell's eating. That O-line has just been beasting, and they just lean on the other teams, lean until they break. Hurts was 15 for 22, 179 yards, 8.1 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, and 108 rating. And he had 12 rushes for 39 yards. I mean, there's just there's really nothing that you can really say negative about this. The one negative that I wrote is that they should have been able to get a field goal attempt to close the half. Because I always try to find like all the positives and all the negatives. That would be the one negative, is that they should have been able to get a field goal attempt. And so the fact they didn't, I'm like, you want to be an even more finely tuned machine, because every little point can matter. Again, especially considering the playoffs, especially considering you might be in the Super Bowl. The other thing that I thought was really great, actually, and I almost didn't say this. I'm looking at my notes right now. There was a Stafford sack. So it was at the end of the first half, and the Rams had the ball, and they had a big sack on Stafford. And there was no timeout. And they were kind of discussing this. And I saw that they didn't call a timeout right away. And I really liked it, because it was like, there's no need to call a timeout, because you're going to get the ball back, and you have the timeouts right now. And so it doesn't really matter. Time isn't necessarily going to be the problem. And you don't want to give that time to, again, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Like, you're in a good situation in this game. You're in the driver's seat, right? It was, I want to call it like balanced aggression. It wasn't overly aggressive, which we've seen Sirianni kind of get himself in trouble, being kind of overly aggressive. This was balanced aggression, and I thought it was really well, because the reason why they didn't get that field goal attempt, it wasn't a time thing. It was really just, I don't know. I don't want to like say questionable play calling, but it just wasn't executed as well as you would have liked. But it was still at least done in a way now where they didn't give the ball back to the Rams, short field for the Rams. Now, like, it wasn't one of those weird things where now the Rams scored, with 3 seconds left. So I just thought it was just very smart, very balanced, very intentional. The tush push continued to work, as people still doubt whether or not that could work. I mean, the tush push worked huge. Jalen Hurts almost broke free. I mean, he had essentially like one man to beat, and the dude would have ripped off like another like a 30-yard run, maybe even a touchdown. So yeah, all in all, a great game. It's going to be funny to see all the revisionist takes today, to see how everyone's like, I told you Saquon was going to be great. I told you Saquon. I told you the Eagles were a top contender in the NFL. And it's like, okay, we'll see about that. We'll see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Saquon Barkley, this team, do you think that they're Super Bowl contenders? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.